My name is Janet Oyoko, and I was born the first child of Mr. Oyoko, a man whose voice alone could freeze happiness in a room. People thought we were lucky. We lived in a big house with painted walls and clean floors. We never slept hungry. We had school fees paid on time. We wore neat clothes. But what people did not see was that our house had no laughter. No visitors. No music. No freedom. Just rules. I had two younger sisters, Jessica and Julie. From the day they were born, I felt like I had a duty to protect them, even though I was also trapped just like them. Our mother was a teacher, gentle and soft-spoken. She believed in discipline, yes, but also in love, understanding, and growth. Our father was a contractor, tall, broad-shouldered, and always angry at something we could never understand. To him, the world was dangerous. And to protect us, he built a cage. There were many rules, but the most important ones were unspoken. Girls do not talk too much. Girls do not ask questions. Girls do not go out. Girls do not laugh loudly. Girls do not dream aloud. We were allowed to leave the house only for school. No birthday parties. No visiting classmates. No church. No family gatherings. No walking outside to get fresh air. When school closed, we rushed home like prisoners returning before sunset. Sometimes I stood by the window and watched other children run outside. They played football, laughed, argued, and made noise. I didn't know their names, and they didn't know mine. We were ghosts in our own neighborhood. My mother tried. God knows she tried. Many nights, after dinner, when the house was quiet and our father was watching television, she would speak carefully. Please, she would say softly, they are growing. Allow them go to church. Let them attend school activities. They are not babies. My father would turn slowly. His eyes would harden. No, he would roar. That single word would crash into the room like thunder. My sisters would freeze. My heart would sink. My mother would go silent, knowing the discussion was over. Sometimes she cried quietly in the kitchen. I saw it once. That was the day I learned that even adults can be afraid. When I was old enough for secondary school, my father decided I must attend an all-girls boarding school. Girls cannot be trusted, he said. They need to be washed. Everyone thought boarding school would give me freedom. But it was only another kind of cage. Yes, I met other girls. I shared stories. I laughed quietly under my breath. But when school closed and girls went home for holidays, I felt dread instead of joy. Going home meant silence again. It meant walking on eggshells. It meant forgetting who I was becoming. Jessica and Julie followed after me, and soon all three of us were locked in the same pattern: school, home, silence, repeat. One Sunday morning, something happened that changed how the world saw us. Our father had traveled for work. For the first time in years, the house felt lighter. My mother looked at us and smiled nervously. Let us go to church, she said. We froze. Church. Outside. People. Our hearts beat fast. We dressed quickly, afraid time would betray us. Walking to church felt illegal, like we were committing a crime. Inside the church, people stared. Some whispered. They are the Oyoko girls. They actually came out. They are real. We sat quietly. I felt something strange, peace. Music filled the room. People smiled. For once, I felt like a human being. Then the doors burst open. My father stood there. Sweat covered his face. His eyes burned with rage. He didn't care that people were praying. He didn't care that the pastor was speaking. He didn't care that everyone was watching. Stand up, he shouted. The whole church went silent. He grabbed us, one by one, and dragged us out. That day, our name was sealed. From then on, people called us the kids in a cage. As I grew older, my body changed, but my mind was still locked away. No one taught me about love. No one taught me about relationships. No one taught me about my own body. Questions lived inside me with no answers. I was curious, yes. But I was also naive. And when a bird grows in a cage for too long, it doesn't know how to fly safely once the door opens. By the time I finished school, everyone thought they knew my story. Quiet girl. Strict home. Good daughter. No one knew what was happening inside me. No one imagined what was coming. And so, when the truth finally revealed itself, I never imagined that the day my father traveled would become the day my life changed forever. That morning, the house was unusually quiet. My father moved around with authority as always, giving instructions, reminding my mother to watch us closely, reminding us to behave. His voice filled the house the way it always did, firm, commanding, unquestionable. I will not be long, he said. Make sure nothing happens in this house. Nothing ever happened in our house anyway. When he finally drove out, a strange air followed him. The house felt lighter, but also unfamiliar, like a place that had forgotten how to breathe on its own. I woke up early that day. I swept the compound carefully, the way I had been trained to do everything carefully. My sisters were in the kitchen with my mother, cutting vegetables, stirring pots, laughing quietly. Their laughter was low, almost guilty, like they were afraid the walls might report them. Then my mother wiped her hands on her wrapper and said calmly, "Janet, your tutor is here." My heart skipped. Tutor. I followed her into the living room. And that was when I saw him. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. He stood there comfortably, not stiff, not afraid, like someone who belonged anywhere he stood. He was tall, dark, neat, and confident. His clothes fit him well. His skin glowed. His posture was relaxed. His eyes were kind. I had read about men like this in novels. But novels were supposed to be imagination. "Hi," he said gently. "My name is Ted. I'm your tutor." My mouth opened slightly. I looked around the room again. Surely, my father had made a mistake. Surely, this was not allowed. I even thought maybe my sisters were hiding somewhere with a camera, waiting to laugh at me. My mother noticed my shock and smiled, a small knowing smile that surprised me. "Go and get your laptop," she said softly. I rushed into my room, my heart racing, and whispered to my sisters, "There is a man in our living room." They gasped and ran out to peep at him like children seeing a miracle. From the first lesson, Ted was different from anyone I had ever known. He did not rush me. He did not insult me when I made mistakes. When I didn't understand something, he explained again, patiently, using examples from daily life. And when I finally got it right, he smiled. That smile felt like approval. Like recognition. Like being seen. No man had ever looked at me like that. No one ever had. Over time, my mother trusted him. My sisters teased him and asked questions. He treated everyone with respect. He never crossed boundaries, at least not at first. One afternoon, we finished our lesson early. Silence filled the room. "So," he said casually, "what do you like doing?" "I read," I replied quickly. His eyes lit up. "Really?" "Me too." We talked about books. He mentioned titles. I mentioned mine. When I talked about the romantic novels I loved, his lips curved into a knowing smile. "You know," he said gently, "real love is very different from books." I shrugged. "I wouldn't know. I've never been in a relationship." He laughed loudly, waiting for me to laugh too. But I didn't. When he saw my face, the laughter died in his throat. Wait, seriously? I nodded. How old are you? He asked. 20. He stared at me like I was something rare. Wow, he said. That's impressive. You are very safe. Just remain like this. Relationships are not easy. They have ups and downs. They can disturb your peace. Something inside me snapped. So you think I'm weak? I asked sharply. You sound just like my father. I stood up and walked away, my heart pounding. That night, I cried quietly. Not because of what he said, but because a stranger had confirmed what my life already felt like, protected, untouched, but painfully empty. The next day, I avoided him. He smiled. I didn't respond. The third day, he couldn't take it anymore. He asked my sisters to call me. I refused. I said I was sick. He asked if he could come into my room since my sisters were around. When he came in, he apologized sincerely. I looked at him and said something I had never planned to say in my life. I will forgive you if you agree to date me. The words shocked even me. He studied my face for a long moment. Then he smiled slowly. Okay, he said. But this stays between us. No one must know. I nodded. That was the beginning of my second cage. This one was made of secrecy. We started holding hands. Then hugging. Then kissing. Every touch felt like discovery. Every moment felt stolen. Lessons became excuses. Days passed quickly. My program was almost over, and panic grew inside me. I wanted to experience everything before it ended. One afternoon, when he leaned in to kiss me, I guided his hands further and whispered, I'm ready. That whisper changed everything. And it happened. Afterward, he asked repeatedly if I was okay. I told him I was fine. But inside, I felt confused, excited, scared, and empty, all at once. A week later, he stopped coming. No calls. No visits. The house returned to silence. But I was no longer innocent. Months passed. I became sick. Weak. Tired. My mother took me to the hospital. When the result came, her face changed completely. Janet, she said slowly, you are pregnant. The world collapsed. I ran. At home, my father questioned me. I ignored him. My mother arrived crying, shouting, rolling on the floor. My husband, Janet, is pregnant. My father stormed into my room and dragged me out. Who did this to you? Fear and anger took over me. And I screamed. You. That lie destroyed everything. My mother accused him. The neighborhood whispered. My father became a broken man. A family meeting was called. My uncle spoke with wisdom. Your father loved you too much, but he was afraid. Please tell us the truth. I fell on my knees. Ted, I cried. I was scared. My father hugged me. I love you, he said. We found Ted. He accepted responsibility. We got married. Marriage taught me what books never could. Love is not excitement alone. Freedom without wisdom is dangerous. Protection without guidance is harmful. My father changed. My sisters were allowed to live. And I learned that cages, whether built by fear or desire, are never the answer.